Good afternoon, Malaysia, and welcome to Wednesday's edition of The Brief. My name is Gerard Ratnam, and I'm sitting in for Jesse Chahal. In today's edition, I'll be speaking to Tessie, Rijem, an English teacher from Sarawak who won the AKS Global Teacher Award recently. I'll bring you more of that later. And as usual, Nordin Abdullah will join us for his daily crisis brief. But first, some updates from Parliament. Now, borrowers who are in need of financial assistance may still apply for the moratorium under the Pumule package. Deputy Finance Minister once says this: the banks are ready to provide loan repayment assistance to those in need, including a reduction in monthly installment payments. Now, this is what happened previously. The banking industry introduced the Financial Management and Resilience Program. It had a lovely acronym. It's called URUS for B50 households. Borrowers will get 3-month exemptions from their interest payments and can benefit from financial management advice as well. So that was what was promised some time ago. Now, in the meantime, still with Parliament, Deputy Women, Family and Community Development Minister, that was Siti Zalia Mohammad Yusuf. She came under fire in Parliament again, and this time for failing to follow through on a promise made 1 year ago. Now, Kulai MP Tioni Ching questioned her about Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin's promise to increase JKM monthly allowances to 1,000 ringgit for disabled recipients. The former PM promised to raise the allowances immediately. This was also some time ago, but there has not been any movement or concrete results thus far. Also, another piece here on Parliament, or rather in what's happening with regards to Parliament. According to the Tourism, Arts and Culture Minister, Dato Sri Nancy Shukri, Malaysia, hopes to be able to fully reopen to international tourists as early as December this year. At the moment, international tourists are only allowed to visit Langkawi. Having said that, have you visited Langkawi recently? Well, in our daily dose of vitamin N, Nordin Abdullah walks us through a decent concept or a simple concept: opportunity in crisis, what we need to understand about the government's business plan for the upcoming year. Another fantastic word for this is budget. Nordin?
Hi, Gerard. Always good to be on the show with you. Of course, our guru, our master, who has taught us so much over the years. Thank you, Gerard, for the time today. Again, I've often spoken about this concept of dealing with a crisis and looking for the opportunity that crisis does afford us. And one of the things that we're seeing now with this upcoming budget, it is a crisis response budget. So there will be a lot more spending put into the budget to deal with a lot of the things that have happened over the last 2 years of COVID-19. So we'll see increased spending into the healthcare sector. We'll see increased allocation for the B50. So this is one area that we're looking at in terms of a socially responsible budget. But at the same time, for businesses, especially SMEs, I'm suggesting look at this budget as a guide to where to go fishing for the next 12 months, because really we will see the country move out of the doldrums that we're in purely because of COVID-19, and the government is looking to use the budget together with recent policy announcements, and we saw some of those key policy announcements in the last couple of days, especially with the policy coming out of MITI to really drive exports, that the economy is going to pick up. But we need to know where the government is going to allocate their funds, because they've got the research, they've been doing their work behind the scenes of which segments of the economy will move first and which segments of the economy will move the fastest. And from your previous story, one of the areas that I think there's going to be a high lot of growth is actually the tourism sector, because that will see direct cash back into the economy and huge amounts of jobs just to fill the gap for those incoming tourists. In the next 12 months, we should see that.
Well, Nordin, before I let you go, very quickly, you're talking about tourism. Now, everyone's waiting to come back into the country to visit. What are you hearing? I know you've got a ear to the ground with regards to friends overseas. What are they telling you about coming back into the country to visit or for holiday? I mean, or some of them want to come back to work. What are you hearing? Very quickly, my friend.
Yeah, very quickly. People want to get back here. It's a wonderful destination. It's well seen globally as a place, as a destination. And the question will be around the quarantine times and ensuring that Malaysia is a safe place to visit. So security in this sense will be health security. Health security will lead to huge amounts of tourism, and you'll see now countries competing on their ability to be able to make sure that visitors are safe. And that's what will be the new currency of tourism in the next 2 to 3 years.
Thank you very much, Nordin Abdullah there. Just to give you a heads up, tomorrow we'll be talking about Daken 2021. That's DAKEN 2021. So you have your homework lined up for you, my friend.
Yes, sir, and you've got quite the teacher coming on, so I hope you've got your homework done as well.
Yeah, we're going to learn how to mind our English shortly. You take care, my friend. Speak to you soon.
You too, sir.
That was Nordin Abdullah joining us for his daily crisis brief right here on The Brief, which happens every weekday at 2 p.m. on Ratnam TV. Now, moving along swiftly, and this is according to the Prime Minister, the National Culture Policy 2021, or DAKEN 2021, will be used as a guide, and this is for planning the development of the country's arts, culture, and heritage sector. Now, the initiative is also in line with efforts to make the sector a catalyst for Keluarga Malaysia. Now, the policy outlined directions to become a developed nation of cultured people. Listen to this, which is formulated based on the 5 principles of Keluarga Malaysia, which is namely inclusivity, togetherness, sense of pride, openness, and wholeness. So we'll be definitely hearing from people within the art scene about this very, very soon. In the meantime, here's my Malaysia Boleh moment for today. Health Minister KJ has been elected Vice President of the 75th World Health Assembly, or WHA, in 2022. Apparently, it's a big deal. Now, according to Dr. Noor Hisham, he on a Twitter post said Cairo received unanimous support at the 72nd WHO Regional Committee meeting in Japan, adding that this was a great honor for us as Malaysians in Malaysia. He added that Malaysia is also serving on the WHO Executive Board from 2021 to 2024. Now, the question here would be, what is the WHA? Now, the WHA is simply this. It comprises 194 member states and is the highest, I'll repeat that, is the highest decision-making body of the World Health Organization. So there you have it. I'm sure KJ is elated. So are we as citizens of the country. And I'm sure he'll have a statement coming out very, very soon on the plans of the road ahead. Now, from there, we move on to a shocking stat. And I want you to listen to this very carefully. Police have received 424 cases of babies dumped nationwide. And this is from 2018 till about September this year, which averages to a 9 month, to 9 a month. Now, even reading this just breaks my heart. Over half of the reported cases involve babies who were found dead. Here's where it gets sadder. Overall, 236 of the cases are unsolved due to identification issues. So there's a lot to follow up on this piece of news. Now, from there, we move into education, which is very important to build a strong nation. And joining me is Tessie Rijem. These 2 years have been a roller coaster for students nationwide as they attend classes. So they've been attending classes from home and getting used to it. Acclimating to it was a problem, both for students and teachers. So my guest today has overcome the circumstances, and she thinks creatively and has innovative ways of teaching English on an online platform. And she's now also the proud winner of the AKS Global Teacher Award. She's from SK Sungai Buloh, not in Sungai Buloh in the peninsula, but SK Sungai Buloh in Selangor, Sarawak. Tessie Rijem, thank you very much for joining me. It's a pleasure and an honor to have you here, my friend.
Yeah, thanks to you too for inviting.
Well, congratulations on your award. How do you feel about it, and what does this award mean to you and your family and your friends, of course?
Yeah, okay. I'm actually humbled by this award because I never imagined to receive such a big award like this. One of my lecturer before I get my posting, Madam Susan Tiang, she told me that bloom where you are planted. So that is what I did. I just give my best to the students I love. So I just give my best to them, and I also feel grateful and thankful to God, to my family, to my students, to my colleague, and all the teachers who have inspired me. This means a lot to me. Thank you so much to everyone.
Wow, it means a lot to us too. I guess a lot of people are watching you now as we speak, isn't it? People from the school and all that. Everyone's on TV now.
Yeah.
So we'll get to it. We've got what, about 6 to 8 minutes for this interview. Very
All right.
quickly. So you transition online. You have used more project-based methods to teach English. English being a subject that needs a lot of practice. The project-based teaching includes Bulo Mini Digital News, okay, for speaking and listening, Battle of the Verb, virtual karaoke competition. Where you get all your ideas from? Where are all these ideas coming from?
Yeah, I actually got those idea from the movies that I watched in Netflix. So I saw people do the competition and then the news, how the children act to be the reporter. Yeah, so I watch and then I improvise to be my lesson.
Now, when we come up with project-based lessons, so if you want to teach someone something, we come up with project-based lessons for working online. What are the things teachers can take note of to ensure that there's a high success rate in terms of communication and, of course, exam results here?
Okay, first we must know what our children like. For example, children, they like to talk, they like to tell stories. So that is why I came up with this Buloh Mini Digital News. And then my students, they love to sing. So that is why I come up with this virtual karaoke competition. So yeah, because at the end of the day, these children need to use their target language, which is English.
Mhm.
So if they love the activity, they love the project, they will intrinsically motivated to do the project. They will
Right.
enjoy
So
it.
it's so simple. For you, it all is predicated on one thing. They must have interest, passion, and love,
Yes,
and then they
yeah.
will be able to do it. That's a great way of moving forward. Now, I want to get into a subject that we hardly talk about anymore. Over the years, English in this country has been put on the back burner. We never quite concentrated on English. Though we say, yes, we need to concentrate on English, but, why should we? So, of course, precedence must be given to the national language, which is Bahasa Melayu or Bahasa Malaysia. Then there's Mandarin. What do you think about English literacy or communicative competence? And is this important, especially to students now in this age, more so to your students?
Yep. It is very important, especially to those in rural area like my school, because that is the only way for me to bridge the gap between the rural and also the urban children. Yeah. And
Mhm.
now we in Sarawak are having DLP, dual language program, which is very helpful to build this literacy in English.
Right. So we're looking at budget 2022 that's coming up. That's going to be tabled this week. There also might be an election coming up in Sarawak. Now, with all the help that's going to be coming in with all these upcoming events or important dates, what kind of help do you expect for teachers in rural areas in East Malaysia? What still needs to be addressed as we move forward? Come on, Tessie, put down your
Yeah,
list. Yeah.
thanks. Okay, first and foremost, yeah, I would really, really appreciate if we are provided with good internet connection, because in my school I actually love to connect the students with other children, other teachers around the world. We had Google Meet with one teacher in Sabah last year, so but we only have one or two sessions due to the internet connection. So I really, really wish and I really, really hope that the government, especially Sarawak government, will provide will upgrade internet connection in the school, and also basic necessities, because in my school we are still using the rainwater as the, yeah, basic necessities in like rain sorry like clean water
Wait, hang on.
supply.
Let me stop you here. You said something about rainwater. Your school uses rainwater. I know I mean, it's good to that we save water and make sure we use water well, and using rainwater is a really good thing. But is that all your school uses? Do you have any other supplies?
Yeah, we have one, but it is not clean water supply. It is just the water from the well.
Right. So you're now asking for this to happen: clean water, internet connection, and better connectivity. That's what you hope for in budget 2022, right?
Yeah, and also the
Fantastic.
school building. I
Wow,
hope,
the list is getting longer. Yeah.
but yeah, that's all.
That's all. That's all. Okay. Wait. Hang on. Before I let you go, there's something I want to talk about. With the past 2 years being so hard for teachers, especially for the older teachers, going online, putting the computer on, trying to turn this on and off, putting the lights on, to teach, it is tough. And people have jumped on that bandwagon. They're now used to it. Now, what motivates you to keep going, especially what's happened to for teachers, especially how hard it has become for teachers in the past 2 years? It's become so different. What motivates you to keep going?
Okay, so what motivates me is my students. I love them so much. I would do anything for them, and I really, really wanted to inspire and encourage all the teachers out there. It is difficult, but it is not forever. This somehow will pass. And teachers, I believe, just like what my lecturers told me, to bloom where you are planted, to grow and bloom, we actually need both sun and the rain. So consider this as the rain for us to bloom together. I believe that we teachers will bloom together.
Well, Tessie, congratulations once again on your achievement of the AKS award, and you take care, and all the best in your future endeavors, and also to all the students in your school in Selangor. All the best, everyone. Bye, everyone. Okay, thank you very much, Tessie. Just so we're clear here, Tessie is the winner of the AKS Award, which is a bit different from the Vaki Global Teachers Prize. I'm sure you remember some time ago we had Samuel Isaiah talk about that. So there are various awards given out on a yearly basis. We have, I think, in total 8 teachers who've been part of that award process. Thank you very much once again, Tessie Rijem from Sarawak. Now, before we move on, here's something from the Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah. He says Malaysia recorded 6,148 new COVID-19 cases on Wednesday. So that's an update that's just come in. Moving along to vaccine rates. According to the Health Ministry's data on COVID Now portal, a total of 94.8% of the country's adult population are fully vaccinated as of yesterday. To be exact, 22,191,734 individuals have been fully inoculated. Meanwhile, 8.8% of adolescents aged 12 to 17 have been fully vaccinated. Yesterday, a total of 22,692 COVID-19 booster shots or vaccine booster shots were administered. Now, the cumulative total is, drum roll please, 146,469. Moving on to news in brief, Health Minister KJ has reminded Malaysians to abide by the smoking ban that is imposed in eateries to better safeguard public health and well-being. The smoking ban at eateries came into effect on the 1st of January in 2019. And I guess with the change of government and stuff, most people thought that, okay, with the change of that, the rules have gone back to the original. No, the rules still apply. And according to KJ, if you go into the restaurant, please do not smoke. Okay. Still with KJ, Malaysia will place more resources in providing the necessary interventions for students who need mental health assistance, especially by using technology tools or higher technology. He adds that the COVID-19 pandemic and school closures had significant effects on their mental health. Now, according to the Home Minister, Dato Sri Hamzah Zainuddin, the federal government has no intention to amend the Controversial Security Offences or Special Measures Act, SOSMA, for the time being, claiming that the law is still relevant and crucial to ensure public and national security. Here's a quick fact check. A total of 374 people have been detained under the aforementioned act between January 1, 2020 and September 30th this year. Moving on to the Home Ministry, Malaysia has approved 0.89% of all citizenship applications that Malaysian mothers made for their children from 2018 until this October. Based on the National Registration Department, a total of 2,352 applications were made by Malaysian mothers. 21 were granted citizenship and 31 were rejected. Now, the senior defense minister, Dato Sri Hishamuddin Hussein, says this: the recently announced COVID-19 SOPs for the Malacca state election is not a measure to hinder democracy, but to contain the people's anger towards politicians. Now, the ban on all elections-related gatherings and social activities is necessary for the people's well-being. Once again, a quick recap. Nomination day is on November 8th, early voting November 16th, and polling day, or the Malacca's big day out, is November 20th. We move on to international news. Based on a UN report yesterday, the current commitments to cut greenhouse gas emissions put the planet on track for an average 2.7 degrees Celsius temperature rise this century. It warned that global warming could breach 1.5 degrees Celsius in the next 2 decades. Let's take a listen to this.
1 week before COP26 in Glasgow, we are still on track for climate catastrophe, even with the last announcements that were made. The 2021 emissions gap report shows that with the present nationally determined contributions and other firm commitments of countries around the world, we are indeed on track for a catastrophic global temperature rise of around 2.7 degrees Celsius. So, as the title of this year's report puts it, the heat is on. And as the contents of the report show, the leadership we need is off and far off. We know that humanity's future depends on keeping global temperature increase to 1.5 degrees Celsius by 2030. And we also know that so far, parties to the Paris Agreement are utterly failing to keep this target.
Now, speaking of climate change, Brazil will upgrade its Paris Accord targets at the COP26 as it tries to recover credibility in its environmental policies and handling of the Amazon rainforest. Now, the slight improvement has allowed a resumption of climate talks with the United States. From the COP26 to ASEAN, Joe Biden announced that the US plans to spend more than $100 million to expand its strategic partnership. I don't know what that means, but the good news is that's going to be happening with ASEAN nations. Biden's participation in the ASEAN summit was the first time Washington has engaged with the group in 4 good years. In Egypt, in the Middle East, President Sisi has ended the national state of emergency for the first time in 5 years. While some Egyptians welcome the decision, human rights lawyers say it should be accompanied by further action. Now, the state of emergency was imposed in 2017. This is after a slew of church bombings, and it kept getting extended despite an improved security situation. Now, a quick update on the Sudanese crisis. According to Sudan's top general, Al-Burhan, PM Abdullah Hamdok is unharmed and is in Burhan's own home. The military takeover brought a halt to Sudan's transition to democracy 2 years after the downfall of Omar al-Bashir. We now take a quick look at what's happening on Twitter. There's just so much happening on Twitter, and we have to filter it every so often. Now, if you're a badminton fan, listen to this. Badminton fans are now turning their attention to the French Open 2021. There's a hashtag for it. So it's hashtag French Open 2021 as Malaysian players start off their campaign earlier this week. And with the recent hype over the national and the big movie, but the new movie Dune, there has been more talk about it online as the sequel was just announced yesterday. Dune Part 2 is slated to come out to theaters in October 2023. Now, here's the thing about Dune, which is quite the thing. So they've been trying to get it visually well on movies. They attempted it in 83, 84. Didn't quite work out there. At that time, they said they couldn't bring the book to life And this time around, according to critics, they say they've gotten as close as they can get to the actual book. I haven't yet read the Dune. I'm going to attempt to do this. So please do that too, just so we can all come up with a bit more comments as to how this movie has fared. Apparently, there's going to be a three-part. So part one's out, part two and part three will be coming out. Not very soon, but it will be coming out, and a lot of people are waiting for it. But I guess that brings our show to close to an end at 2:25. We'll be back with more tomorrow. My colleague Jessie Chahal will be back in the chat tomorrow giving you updates. And before I close, here's an acronym all of us have to start thinking about to prep ourselves for the endemic phase. It's TRIIS, which stands for Test, Report, Isolate, Inform, and Seek, which means seek attention if you need attention. We hope to get Nordin Abdullah delve more into that tomorrow. On that note, I'm Gerard Ratnam signing out. This has been The Brief on a Wednesday afternoon. Have a great afternoon ahead and a fantastic evening. Bye-bye now.